Hello, welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and Hits 103.9 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we're on Love 91.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Sankara FM Yendi, Castle FM Cape Coast, Laura FM Laura, and Radio Max Takoradi. Get radio, TV, and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app. Coming up, ECOWAS security chiefs meet in Accra later this morning to draw a plan for military action in Niger as they seek to restore democracy in the troubled member state. Also, Niger has always maintained any military action will be considered declaration of war. Also in this bulletin, Minority and Government Assurances Committee calls on Education Minister to resign following his failure to supply the full complement of approved textbooks 4 years after new curriculum was introduced.
He should resign or be fired.
We'll bring you details as NAT says only 5 out of 8 approved textbooks have been supplied to schools in business.
Ghana's external debt set highest in Africa, raising questions as to why the country is the only country in the ECOWAS region that is debt distressed. We hear from an African Development Bank report on the Joy Business Report.
And the National Road Safety Authority serves notice of conducting safety audits to address dysfunctional traffic lights as commuters face an increased risk of road clashes.
So we intend to do an audit again and bring him to the attention of the urban road.
These are more here on the news at 6 with me, Mami Nyamiche Thompson. Please stay tuned. Now, ECOWAS security chiefs are this morning meeting in Accra to draw up deployment plans as they seek to restore democracy in Niger following last month's coup. The extraordinary meeting will see the gathering of chiefs of defense staff from ECOWAS countries. Their objective is to draw an actionable plan for military action with the objective of restoring democratic rule following the coup that toppled the government of Mohamed Bazoum. Ahead of the meeting, Arthur, conflict and security analyst Colonel Festus Abuaji, retired, says the chiefs must decide the estimated troop numbers ECOWAS countries must deploy to guarantee a successful intervention.
So if Niger Armed Forces is about 20,000, that could even be higher. With recent combat capabilities, when you go in, you need in the region of 50,000. In other words, this meeting on Thursday must do the bolts and nuts. And the officers and the admirals know how to do that. The estimate. They know how to do that. And building what we've been talking about as risks. There are very serious inherent risks in this intervention.
Yesterday, ECOWAS issued a statement raising concern about attacks in the country. Joy News editor Fred Smith joins me in studio with details of that statement. Fred.
Mami, the statement issued in Abuja says ECOWAS has learned with sadness various attacks by armed groups in the Republic of Niger that have led to the death of several Nigerian soldiers. ECOWAS condemns these attacks and conveys its deepest condolences to the people of Niger and the families of the soldiers who have lost their lives. ECOWAS calls on the CNSP military leadership in Niger to restore constitutional order in order to focus on the security of the country that has become increasingly fragile since the attempted coup d'etat against the democratically elected president, His Excellency Mohamed Bazoum.
Thank you, Fred. Meanwhile, former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, says the recent takeovers in the sub-region can be attributed to poor governance and leadership. He, however, says a number of these military rulers are not ready to relinquish power.
It's not just unconstitutional change of government that will transition to civilian or civil government quickly. No. I visited one of the countries not too long ago, and after 2 nights, I came out with the feeling that the young boys who are in charge of government military are not thinking of transitioning in 3 years, in 5 years, not even in 10 years. They're thinking of one generation.
And you heard former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. Now, the minority on the Government Assurances Committee is demanding that the Education Minister, Dr. Yao Educhum, resigns following his failure to supply the full complement of approved textbooks to basic schools. It's been 4 years since the new curriculum was introduced, but these schools are yet to be supplied with the right quantities of textbooks. Speaking to Joy News ranking member on the Assurances Committee, John Oti Bless, says the minister should do the honourable thing by stepping down for failing to deliver on his promise.
Because you go to Kenya right here, about 2 years ago, 3 ministers were fired for failing to deliver on their mandate.
Are you suggesting the education minister should be fired for this?
He should resign or be fired.
According to President of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Dr. Isaac Owusu, only 5 out of the 8 approved textbooks have been supplied to the schools.
And another thing, for the ministry to procure the books that the NACA has approved. As I speak to you, since 2019, the schools are with 5 textbooks out of the 8 subjects that the children are doing at the primary level.
President of the Ghana Publishers Association, Asari Kunedu Yamwa, said government has procured less than 50% of the textbooks.
When you use your own people enrollment, you will realize that your books that you procured was not enough to give every child a textbook. So by your own way, that the teachers were telling you that they've kept some of their books and are asking two children to use 1 textbook. How can that happen when the objective of the government is to procure 1 textbook per child?
He also added that government has not honoured its payment 4 years after that. Now, Public Relations Officer at the Ministry of Education, Kwesi Kwarteng, blames the inadequate textbooks at some basic schools on challenges with distribution.
But if you are hearing today that some of the schools have not received their books, what probably essentially means is that it could be just challenges within the distribution chain, which quickly we have to check and resolve.
Still on education, government has acted on the National Labour Commission's directive to immediately implement the agreed upon terms of conditions of service with the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAC, after it flouted its earlier directive. In a letter signed by the Director for Tertiary Education at the Ministry of Education, Professor Yaira Jakaji, to the Executive Secretary of the NLC, he among others said all outstanding arrears will be paid by the Controller and Accountants General's Department. Now moving on, the National Road Safety Authority is set to conduct urban road safety audits to address the issue of dysfunctional traffic lights. The lights situated along key routes have transformed the flow of vehicles into chaotic scenes as cars navigate through the intersections without proper guidance. The Director of Regulation, Inspection and Compliance at the National Road Safety Authority, Kwame Kodue-Chiahene, indicates that efforts are underway to renovate these malfunctioning lights in order to prevent potential road accidents.
So we intend to do an audit again and bring him to the attention of the urban road. What they indicated to us as a response to the notice was that some actions had been taken on some of them. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, about 54 to 60% of those that were dysfunctional at the time of reporting had been remedied. Nonetheless, between then and now, we get onto the road environment and we observe that a number of them are getting into those conditions again. We will do an audit and bring that to their attention, give them the deadlines again, and hope that we can have some resolution.
And now to Tech Thursday, spraying machines are crucial for effective farming. However, it's labor intensive, particularly for the elderly. Though there are electrically powered spraying machines on the market, it's imported, heavy and expensive. But there's good news as students of the Sunyani Technical University have come with a triple power spraying machine. Kwesi Debra has more.
The container, which is made from plastic, weighs almost 3 times less than the imported ones. Again, it's powered by solar, rechargeable battery, and ordinary battery. Characteristics the imported ones can only dream of.
You can connect with the solar panel here, it will work. If you don't want to use the solar panel too, you use the rechargeable batteries, that one too, it will work, and as well as the dry cell.
Though there is water inside, but I can still lift it. It's not heavy. And the belts are also tough. It's not like the one in the market with the tiny bolt, whereby if you back it, it will be causing pains to your shoulders. This one is having the same capacity as the already existing one in the market. But the difference is this one is lighter as compared to the one in the market. In the sense that this one is made up of plastic. And the weight is 1.5 kilos, and the other one, the already existing one in the market, is 4 kilograms. This one is using lithium-ion battery. That makes it very light in weight. And the one in the market is using lead-acid battery, which makes it very heavier.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
And that's how we end the bulletin this morning. In our top story, ECOWAS security chiefs meet in Accra later this morning to draw up plans for military action in Niger as they seek to restore democracy in the troubled member state. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. Business is next on the Super Morning Show.